Welcome to the Beacon House Podcast, recorded live in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Why, hello, everybody. Welcome back to a very, very overdue episode of Beacon House Podcast. I know it's been a minute, and by God, we're going to get into exactly why and what all's been going on. But we've assembled, since you guys have waited so long, I've assembled a team of experts to be here. There's 4 different people on this podcast, so you guys are really going to get your money's worth. Not that you actually paid for anything, but we still love you. And first person I'm going to say hello to is my lovely co-host, Grace Steele, who I haven't seen in a minute, but now we're together again. Grace, say what's up.
What's up? What's up, Spencer?
How have you been?
I've been good.
I'm glad.
I've been good. Life.
We're going to get into it.
We'll get into
everybody's life, what's been going on for a little bit, including mine, so I don't have to keep explaining to people
over and over
what's going on in 2024. And then also on the podcast today, also a frequent returning host and founding co-host of the podcast, Hunter Barnhart, the singer of Burn the City. Say hello.
Hey guys, how you doing?
There you go. That's how you actually
That's
sound.
me. You're gonna fix this later, right? I'll sound normal, like normal for me.
Yeah, you'll sound
Okay,
great.
Thanks.
And then to redeem us from that abomination of an introduction is Hunter's lovely wife and the voice of the Beacon House intro. Ladies and gentlemen, Eliza Weathers.
Hello. Eliza or Libby is fine. Either one.
Eliza Libby is here.
Eliza Libby, indeed.
And we're all just going to talk about what's been going on in the last few months.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, do I have a couple. Anyway,
Yeah.
tell you what, though, let's start with you, Grace.
With me.
Yeah, what have you been up to? What's going on?
Nothing. I've been working. Oh, I did go to Nashville. I went and saw Bill Murray, the band Bill Murray. Hung out with some
Bill Murray.
friends.
The
Yeah, we were
band
there
Bill
for like
Murray.
18 hours. Yeah, Bill Murray. You should check him out.
I'm not familiar.
BILMURI.
A band. What kind of music do they play?
Like metal, punk, pop.
How do I not know?
It's
That
like
makes sense.
this.
That's my alley.
Like there was tons of guys in tank tops with mullets and mustaches moshing and crowd surfing
Wow.
at this concert.
I can't believe you got to send me a link or something.
I will.
'Cause
It's
have
great.
You guys heard of this?
No.
Have you heard of it? No. Usually when people, they're like, oh, we love Bill Murray. And I'm like, the band. And they're like, oh, there's a band. No, Caleb loves him.
Okay.
He sees them on tour. Like we've gone like twice now. Seen him in Asheville. We're at Brooklyn Bowl. So
I was in Nashville briefly. I saw Butch Walker. I went with our buddy Shauna, and they he was doing a 20th anniversary show for his album Letters, which is it was his first real big artistic. It was the first album he did that didn't just sound like his old band, The Marvelous Three, which I don't think there's anything wrong with, and I'm supposed to go see again this year, but it was kind of him really like exploring songwriting. And so anyway, he did 20th anniversary, so I did get to do that.
yeah.
And so I also was in Nashville for a show, just briefly.
I like Nashville. So it was fun. Finn came with us, had a play date. But besides that in my life, I haven't done shit. I've been like super focused on this P. Diddy thing. Like I don't even care
Now-
about this political election, everything that's
Oh,
going
it's
on.
a turd.
I know. So
We've been
I've just
talking
been
about it. It's a
focused
turd.
on this
Yeah.
P. Diddy. He's in jail.
They arrested him.
Yeah, he's arrested. He tried to appeal. They won't let him out on bond, so he has to sit till his trial. They're keeping him separate, away from General Pop. But when they raided his home, they seized over 1,000 bottles of lubricant and baby oil.
God.
Wait, what?
1,000 bottles of lubricant and baby oil.
Jesus.
And I watched like 2 documentaries on him and like all this stuff. So I've been like, P. Diddy's going down. And I really wanted it to be like, he pissed off the gods or the Illuminati or something. So he's like taking a hit because he was like at the top of the game, this empire, and now he's like burning. He's like, he's fucked. Like, he can never come back. Like, he is screwed. I didn't know what a freak off was until I watched some documentary. Yeah, it's apparently where you watch people have sex. Like, your partner fuck somebody else.
I thought that was
it's like a party.
A cook.
It's not a
Is
freak
there a
off.
difference? What?
I don't know.
Well,
That's
Grace
what
just
it
said
is.
it's like a party, so it might be
It's like-
in
it's like
mass or
a-
Oh,
something.
it's like an orgy, but you're not involved. You're just
You're
an onlooker.
watching, yeah.
That is
so
strange.
So the baby oil was for other people?
But what we're saying is that Diddy did it.
yeah.
Diddy
Diddy did it.
Diddy?
Diddy did it.
Did he?
Diddy did it, and he's fucked. But I really wanted it to be like
No, well, you said he's not fucked though, because he was on the break party.
Well, he did some fucking, but he also wanted to watch people fuck, especially
Oh my
his
God.
partner. But he just he terrorized people. Like he's on racketeering, kidnapping,
Jesus.
conspiracy, prostitution, sex trafficking.
Good Lord.
He's on like all, and they like he's not getting out. Like
Diddy got cucked. Now he's fucked.
done. Yeah, exactly.
Oh
So-
my God. I didn't realize all this.
That is insane.
Like, I heard that he was possibly picked up on like the suspicion of like sex trafficking or allegations of this. And I was like, well, you know, and again, at this point, there's so many famous people that get busted for shit that I'm just
Yeah.
not surprised anymore. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, of course that person did it. Of course that person did it. Like, how the mighty have fallen, you know?
Yeah.
As our good friend Hannah would say, Rome fell, you know? And shout out Hannah, by the way. She's going to be on an episode soon, especially Halloween. But I just didn't know that it was that kind of
It's-
party.
Oh yeah. So like
That's a West Coast
basically,
party.
West Coast
basically
party?
like all of his parties
We're sticky.
Were-
I feel like
yeah,
they
they were
required a
sticky.
change of clothes.
They were sticky.
Yeah.
So he, I mean,
'cause you weren't using enough lube.
there was always something about Diddy that I just didn't like. Like I didn't like his music. Like there's just always something about him that I was just like, I wouldn't fuck with that dude. Like if he was never like a street hustler or like in the streets, he like, you know, he DJ'd parties and stuff. He went to Howard University, and that's where he got like known because he was doing parties while he was at Howard. So he
That's where he
dropped
discovered
out,
lube.
and
Yeah.
he got a.
He's like, one day.
Yeah, he got an internship or started working at Uptown. I believe it was Uptown Records. Yeah, and so that's where, and then he started Bad Boy Entertainment.
Boy, did he.
Uh-huh.
He did.
Did he?
Diddy did, didn't he?
But remember, like it was like a year ago, one guy got arrested on like an indictment that was going to be charged with Tupac's murder, and there he was going to implicate
Yeah.
Diddy in it, but they could never tie it to it. This was just a year ago, so the dude's now locked up on Tupac's murder. So they were going to implement Diddy on it, but they couldn't stick it. Diddy's had like numerous sexual like
what the lube
lawsuits
is
come
for.
out in the last year. One of his producers that he worked with says that Diddy was like would drug him and like try to have a homosexual relationship with
Oh.
him and like rubbed on his booty hole.
It's amazing they couldn't get it to stick with all that lube.
You stole my.
No, that
Yeah.
it will like
Did I?
You did. She said
You got a
they couldn't
couple
get-
zingers in already.
She said they couldn't get to stick, and I said it's because they weren't using enough lube.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give full credit to that joke to Eliza Libby. Over
Eliza
here.
Libby.
But
Eliza Libby.
but all these lawsuits are being settled outside of court because he did it. Just like Cassie, his girlfriend, where that video was
of
released,
him
just
like kicking her in the face and
beating the
stuff.
shit out of her in
Did you not see that?
2016.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
She's
crazy.
it was all over the news. It was
She's
released.
got all her bags. Sorry, Grace. All her bags, and he chases her.
He was asleep in the hotel room. They had an altercation prior. He had hit her. She packed her stuff, like or whatever she could carry, ran out, was waiting at the what are the things that go down?
Elevator,
Thank you.
yeah.
Elevator to go down, and as she's waiting on it to come, you see him just running down the hallway in a
Like
towel.
throwing bottles of lube.
He's
like,
in a
He
towel.
starts
Yeah.
beating her, like
Oh.
starts kicking
Yeah.
her in the
He grabs
ribs
her
and
by
the
the
face,
Tough.
drags her. It's a really
hair,
hard
I
video to
think.
watch. And it literally, the video came out weeks after all these allegations of him being federal prosecuted for sex trafficking. So no, his apology and whatever he had doesn't sit, like he has nothing. He can't stand on shit. And New York took away. They gave him the key to the city. They took it away.
Fuck.
Like Diddy's fucked. Like
That's
he
the
might
only
as well
city
just
big
bow
enough to
down.
keep all that lube.
I would like the record to reflect right now that regardless of what anybody says in the future, if Diddy dies in prison, he did not kill himself.
He probably
Definitely.
slipped on that lube.
No.
Yeah.
Hit his head on the toilet or something.
Oh,
I
Look,
bet he's
mean,
gonna wish he had.
And
some
again,
lube
I'm
in
not making
prison.
light of that. I don't think assault and battery is funny. Obviously,
Absolutely
it's
not,
not,
yeah.
and domestic violence is not funny. And man, I think that just goes to show you how weird and different our algorithms are. It's like my phone hasn't shown me anything about P Diddy except maybe just like as I was maybe scrolling through YouTube, there might have been like a point piece on it, that I was zipping by, but like it didn't come up on my Instagram reels or anything.
Nothing?
That's just
You don't follow the news?
I mean, I follow some news, but most of
Mine's
my
like
news.
ABC. I got ABC, CNN, BBC.
Well,
You should watch Breaking Points.
The only ones that we trust is Breaking Points.
Breaking Points covered it once.
I got
think.
Breaking Points
they?
too, but I get
That's my
World
favorite.
Star. I got all these, so it's just
But all you
it's
need
just
is Breaking
massive.
Points.
And of course, the way the algorithm works is if you click on one
Well,
of them, you get a
I
billion
occasionally-
others.
Yeah,
So
I've
you
been-
got all the information because you were looking at stuff.
Yeah, I was looking at it. So mine's
Yeah.
basically right now Diddy, people falling, and animals. That's mine.
I mean,
Gotta
that's
have the animals to cleanse the palate after watching all that other stuff.
all the animals and then people falling and getting hurt.
yeah, and then it's all that news, and then like Japanese dwarf squirrel.
Oh my god!
Oh my God! No, and that's another. And again, to kind of not to like hijack that topic, but also to like the point of how the mighty have fallen. Like that news about Dave Grohl came out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like had a kid out of wedlock, and
Well, that's
like
another thing. So my life has been so boring. I'm just consumed with everyone else's drama.
well, here's a
because
question.
I don't do anything.
Like there's so many people that fall for like are there any celebrities anymore that are just like squeaky clean? Like is
Paul Rudd.
All right.
there? You might be right.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves.
Well, the only thing with Keanu Reeves, he needs to atone for some of the shitty movies he's done.
Oh.
Sorry.
Whoa. We love
God.
Keanu Reeves.
I love him too. I love him, especially in Bill and Ted. But the problem is he never stopped playing that character.
But no, you're right. I mean, when you're a celebrity and
the
everything,
Matrix, like he's John Wick. He's still whoa.
like
Yeah.
if you think like
Point Break.
super deep into it, so Diddy and this lifestyle that they live, think about how rich and how famous and the things that they would experience. It's just like drugs. When you get a little bit of something, a taste of something, your tolerance starts going. So when you get exposed to new things, you're like, that's what turns me on. That's what gets me hard. That's what I want. That you always take it to the next level, and you're like, when you're that powerful and that big, it's like nothing's going to touch me. I mean, you don't
Yeah.
think about your ethical morale.
Well, I think it's
anything
also
that's happening.
I think it's what the people have been through when they get there. So a lot of people that become famous started out in like really weird places. Like they come from abusive households. They come from like places of like the extreme poverty. And so when they finally get a taste of like excess, they go fucking crazy. Like they don't know how to compartmentalize. That's why so many bands get on the road and they get totally destroyed by drugs. They just can't handle it. And there's so much free time on their hands, and they have access to unlimited things. And I know a couple of bands who I've seen a little of this stuff firsthand, you know, like I've been out on the road with some signed bands a couple times, and it's just people that have so much free time on their hands. And again, somebody like Diddy or somebody like Taylor Swift or somebody that big, they're in airplanes and they're staying in fancy hotels. But most bands that are out touring are in a bus, and 18 hours out of the day, they're just waiting. And for like 4 hours a night, they're a celebrity. And then after that, they're just literally in a metal tube flying down the asphalt highways, like hoping that there's a truck stop open so they can shit.
Yeah.
Seriously, because you can't shit on the bus. Like if you've never just gotten attention from people that are trying to flirt with you, or you've never just had people throwing drugs at you for free as much as you could stand, all you could want, there's so much excess. If you've never had any of that, and then all of a sudden it's on your plate, it's a little tough.
It is tough.
To manage your appetite and not let it destroy you. You know?
You have no
but
discipline
if you become
for it yet.
when you do become one of those megastars like Diddy or Taylor Swift or Grohl or whoever, it becomes a lifestyle. You don't think you ever going to have to change it. You just keep coming this is your daily life.
You get out of touch with reality.
Like, it's not reality. You're not living in reality.
Like those
You've
people
made your own.
They're
But
not. They're not cracking the door to
this
throw
is
up in the parking
it's like
lot.
Epstein.
Yeah,
Like it's
I was
a
going to say,
whole-
then there's the whole issue of like, this has been going on for so long.
It's been
How
going on
has
for
this
2
been
decades.
kept quiet for so long?
It's 2 decades.
It actually goes back to Alexander the Great, but we'll
yeah.
we'll leave
It's
that.
just it becomes a lifestyle. It becomes
It does.
their reality. It becomes where it's their norm.
So it's like this whole thing is coming out about Diddy, but like if this has been kept quiet for so long, like it just points to the fact that there's more corruption everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
not true at all. It stops with him.
Yeah,
We
of
finally
course.
got
There's
to
only,
head of the
there's
story.
only
Get him, it ends.
one bad apple. That's it.
No, the other bad apples have been got. That's the whole point. That's why everyone's excited. That's why Grace is so excited. We got the head of the
I'm
snake.
just excited because my life is boring. My life isn't. I don't really drink anymore. So that's another thing about
for
me.
you.
I don't like once in a I mean, I had one drink at the Bill Murray concert, but I don't really go out anymore. I don't do anything. I try to eat healthier. I've lost 24 pounds.
Congrats.
To Ozempic. But I did it.
But did you take it? Did you do it?
Yeah, I did it. Not as extreme as what some I know somebody
Yeah.
lost 45 pounds in 3 months.
A lot of people are doing it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's no
a lot
judgment.
of people are. No judgment on
how
it.
did
I
you
just
feel?
want to do it. I quit and then was like, okay, I'll just try to manage on it. And then now I'm just done. I did it. My reason was because I was working out and I was dieting, but I still wasn't fitting into my bridesmaid dress for my sister's wedding.
Oh, I get it.
So I was like, I have 6 weeks to get into this dress.
They say a lot of
So-
people that potentially are right there on the cusp of type 2 diabetes. They're pre-diabetic,
You should do it.
hypoglycemic. They say it's very, very good for those people.
It is
I mean,
good.
anybody can use it to whatever they want, but I've heard that specifically anybody that's about to have
is, yeah.
a hypoglycemic issue, that's the target audience. But then a lot of people, I know a ton of people that have tried
People
it
are
out.
just doing it to do it. They don't have to have anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have anything wrong with me.
Let me ask you this:
I was doing it.
If somebody's listening and they're considering it, what would your advice be to them?
I would talk to a nutritionist. I would talk to at least 2 doctors, and I would talk to people who have done it. So I was sick a lot. It definitely, the way you lose weight is because you have no appetite.
Right.
You don't eat. I'm just going to say
So you get-
it's not, I don't think it's actually a healthy way to lose weight. I think if you're needing to lose weight quick, I don't think it's something you need to be doing long term. I think
Right.
you can develop serious health issues.
Well, it puts you
for
into a
doing it.
calorie deficit.
Yeah,
and
like,
most
I
people,
think-
when they get to the way most people get into a calorie deficit is they also get into a nutrient deficit.
Yeah. Right.
So a lot of times by not eating, you also don't get.
Well, you're
you know.
losing weight, right? But you're losing muscle mass.
Yeah.
You're losing important things that you need.
Because
And
your body
so-
goes into starvation mode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, drinking coffee, I don't know if I can say this, but you have diarrhea. You are throwing up and you have diarrhea.
You can say that on
Yeah.
here.
So,
We've said worse.
you don't even try to eat fried food.
I might have diarrhea
Don't
by the
eat
end of this
fried-
podcast.
Don't eat fried food.
I have
Don't eat a lot of
stories
sugar.
about diarrhea.
Caffeine,
true.
especially coffee.
Oh, I'll never have it. If you can't have coffee, no way.
It will tear you up. So, and one thing about it is, I really enjoyed food, but it took away cravings.
Yeah.
So, and it made me feel weak. I just felt weak. I was tired. And my
Well, and
jobs.
I feel like you were kind of a foodie, and I remember
Yeah.
you and I
me and Caleb are.
Yeah, we specifically have gone out and got excited over Mexican food and you know what I mean?
Trying new restaurants. That's a thing.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
the thing that me and Caleb did. It was something that we enjoyed every Friday night. And that stopped. There was no craving. So now food, I have an appetite. It's coming back. His is coming back. We're enjoying food more. But the thing is what I want people to do is when you stop taking the dosage or you start going down, consult your doctor. Do it properly because one, you will gain the weight back faster. People gain it 2 times. So I lost 20 pounds. They're you're going to gain 40. So you have to make sure that you're eating, but you're not overeating. You're eating what's appropriate. I'm going to start working out. I want to build, both of my jobs are physical laboring. I take care of animals, I walk dogs, and then I'm also on my feet 10 hours out of a day doing lifting things. You know what I mean? But I feel I still need to put some more exercise into my routine.
Sure.
I think that's healthy for your mind and your body. But if you are listening and you're thinking about doing it, consult people. Talk to them.
Okay. Well, if you're going to take Ozempic, be careful. Follow Grace's instructions. Go see your doctor. Be under very, very careful medical care. And for God's sake, do follow their instructions to the letter.
And make sure you eat protein. Don't just not eat. Like,
Yeah.
tell yourself, like, okay, I am not hungry, but I need to eat something.
Yeah.
And if anything, make sure it's protein in it. And but I just want to clear, I wasn't on Ozempic. It was semaglutide, so it's the cheaper version.
It's the what do they call it? The
knockoff.
generic
The
brand.
Timu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Timu Ozempic.
Team Ozempic.
By the way, Timu Ozempic is a new villain in the next Godzilla.
Team Ozempic, yeah.
He's going to fight King Kong.
Well, he actually there was an Easter egg for him in the last one.
Team
It's,
Ozempic?
yeah, it's a scene where Godzilla lost like 800 pounds and had a slim waist. Mm-hmm. But all of that weight just went to his linebacker arms that he got all of a sudden.
Or his
And the
hips, his big
childbearing
hips.
hips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Godzilla's got big hips.
No, not
got
anymore. He had
childbearing
those.
hips.
Yo, man.
They gave him like
that
narrow
Godzilla's
hips.
got a fat ass. Yo,
He's got childbearing hips.
Yeah.
yo,
exactly.
There we
thick.
go.
Boy.
Boy. You know, South Park made a movie about Ozempic where
I bet it's
Carmen.
great.
It is. It was
A movie or
fucking
an
hilarious.
Episode.
No,
Movie.
it's a movie.
movie.
It is
Yeah.
Carmen, and he loses fucking weight. Oh my god.
I gotta go see it. Hunter, what's been going on with you?
Man, lots of creative stuff and
You've been drawing. I feel like you've been
a lot.
sending a lot of text of
Yeah,
images
working-
and mock-ups and drawings and such. And
Yeah, working on some personal projects and working on stuff for the band because we got the record coming up that we're going to start
we
recording
keep
soon.
teasing this new album we've got, but I'm telling you, it's going to be.
It's going to be special.
It's
There's
gonna
a
be
bunch of
something-
stuff. Me and Dylan are working on the art side together in tandem. and-
tease.
Yeah,
They're
we're
so
teasers.
they're so big. Like the story is so big. There's so much. Like it's.
I don't
it's
want to
so good.
overpromise, but if it works, Dylan and I have a design for like a 3D, like
It's going to be nuts.
sculpture.
It's
thing
going to be
that'll-
nuts. Barring one development, the next time
Which
you
we'll
guys
get to.
see Burn the City, it should be the best you've ever seen and sound the best they've ever sounded, with the exception of one thing.
But yeah, it's been good since I was last on. I started therapy for the first time ever, which was spectacular. And
I love therapy.
It's
Everyone
fantastic.
should.
I'm going tomorrow morning.
I love
excellent.
it. I
Mom-
think
Fantastic.
they need it.
if you're actually still subscribed to Beacon House and you hear this, you should also go.
Tell my mother too.
Lucy doesn't listen.
How about everyone go to therapy?
It's
That's
a
what I'm
good
saying.
idea.
And if
Yeah.
you think you don't need
Good.
therapy,
You do.
Yeah.
you're the one that
The
needs
people
it.
who think they don't need therapy are the ones that need it the most.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And for the record, let me go ahead and just say, like, I also have been going. I found a really great new therapist this year, or maybe it was late last year. Very recently, let's put it like, within the last year. I've started seeing a new therapist, and she's spectacular. Her name's Mallory, and she's over at the BetterHelp place over in. No, I'm sorry. Edit. It's not BetterHelp. BetterHelp's the online one where they don't
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
insurance.
Yeah.
Be careful with that one. I'm not saying it's bad, but be careful with that one because they'll charge you an arm and a leg, and they won't accept any insurance. And like, if you want to go to therapy on your phone and pay an arm and a leg for it, by all means. But there are other options besides BetterHelp. There's a lot of ads for it, but they won't take any insurance, and you have to pay like a lot. It's like $100 a session. It's a lot.
For how much I pay for insurance, you better take it.
There
Yeah.
was
Well-
also this can be off the record because whatever. There was also a thing a while back where it was revealed that some of the therapists through BetterHelp didn't actually have licenses.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So,
So I guess
have,
that's why they can take
Yeah.
insurance. 'cause
yeah. I've
then
got
you find
my
out.
reservations about them.
It's interesting.
I always went to Bearden Health.
The place I go, it's called Journey Together, and
I've heard of them.
It's over in Cedar Bluff on Cross Park Drive, and you can look them up online. And they have a whole bunch of therapists, including an ex Beacon House guest who's been a lifelong friend of mine.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, one of the.
Divulge their full name, address.
If
Social
you,
Security
I'm
number.
not gonna. I don't have her permission to name her, but she's there, and she's been on Beacon House before. I believe on the Dream episode. If you go back far enough, she was on here. She was working there. I didn't even know that. I saw her in the hall.
That's awesome.
But it's a bunch of great people, and again, it's called Journey Together, and you can Google it and look here in Knoxville. And they take insurance, and they're very, very nice, and they're super great. And I get stoked every time I get to go.
Are y'all are honest when you go to therapy, right? I know a
Yeah.
lot of people who go to therapy and they're like, they just don't, they hold it all in and they're just not honest.
Well, most
And
of
I feel
therapists know to wait on that. Like when I
Yeah.
first
True.
started seeing this person, like I really wanted her to like me, and like I really wanted to like prove, like I was for some reason trying to prove something. I guess I was in there trying to prove that I wasn't crazy,
Yeah.
or something. And I was like, well, blah blah blah, and like she's just very calm and like, You know what I mean? I think they're used to waiting for you to get done with your bullshit and then get real honest. But there's no right or wrong way to do it. Like, you know what I mean? As long as you can just talk openly and as long as you can take advice.
Yeah.
What's your
That's
experience
funny.
been
That's funny that you ask that though, because my therapist, again, I had never done it before in any capacity. So I walked in and I was like, I don't know how this works. He walked me through it. He's fantastic. But towards the end, I went, a few other things, and started rattling a bunch of stuff off because I was trying to give him like a baseline to know like why I was there. And
That's common.
He goes, we're not going to get to everything today. It's okay.
Yeah, that's common. That's usually what they say to me because I just go in and they're basically like, okay, we're going to need weekly sessions.
Yeah.
Like
every 2 weeks for me, which is nice.
I'll give you if you want to do like therapy takeaways, like one of the recent ones, and I've got my phone out making notes sometimes when we talk, and she's really cool and not judgy, and but also like she doesn't just always accept everything you tell her. Like, well, I think this, and she'll go, and she'll tell
That's
you.
what my
like,
therapist does.
But specifically, one of the things she said to me is I was talking about I had some feelings about something, and I was like, I feel if that's bad to feel that way. She goes, feelings don't have to be bad or good. Feelings can just be feelings. Mm-hmm. You don't have to categorize them as like a positive or negative. You could just name them and then allow them to exist without having a win or lose crisis over your feelings. The feeling could just be what's occurring in you at the time, and don't worry, it's going to change anyway. So just be cool with it. Like that kind of stuff, like everything doesn't have to be outcome oriented. Mm-hmm. It could kind of just be what's going on at the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that's true.
I've been doing that, and it's amazing. I too look forward to it. Like every second Tuesday, like that's the thing. I'm like, I can't wait to go, which I didn't expect.
It's gotten to the point where if something comes up, and he like anything that like is off-putting to him, or that he does that he's like, I don't know why I do that. He'll just go, I'll talk to him about that.
Yeah,
that's good.
I'll talk to him about that.
That's
or
good.
Stuff that confuses me because I still react to stuff in ways that have bothered me to my core my entire life, and I'll like after I calm down, I'll be like, why? Like,
I do that. Well, and eventually, like mine started to go. Well, where do you think that comes from? And that's when you're like, you're in all the way. Then you're like, you're looking at your internal.
So I've already gotten there. That's happened a couple times.
Where
like
do you think that feeling comes from? They start that, and you're like, oh shit, I can't hide anymore.
Yeah. That was interesting too, because like I imagine maybe you do the same. I try to caveat everything, and not to excuse anything, but to just like add the base level of where the negative influences came from, and be like, these aren't actually evil people. I'm not describing evil that happened to me, just bad decisions. Blah 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 for the exterior ones, and he very patiently sits through all that, and then he's like, yeah, but that still would cause you to react that way. I think is reasonable. And and like,
a lot of the stuff that I'm going to reveal here shortly, my therapist has not heard yet.
Oh,
I'm going to unload this on her. Right. I'm going to unload it on you guys tonight, and then I'm going to unload it on her tomorrow, and then I'm pretty much done talking about it until something else happens. But anyway, we'll get there.
That's going to be crazy. The other development, the reason I've been able to do all this stuff is because of different circumstances. I'm no longer working regular jobs. Only doing my work from home one that I picked up in 2021 when there's work, and then Libby is now the sole breadwinner otherwise, and that
girl power.
It's been strange. Like I'm mostly good with it now, and so she's been good with it, but it's been weird because I'm so used to like culturally and everything else, and like the wiring in my brain of being like, but you're the man, you're the husband, you have to, even if I'm not bringing in the most money, which almost never was the case, I was like, I have to be helping in some way. And one of the last times I had a tiny little like episode about that, she was like, yeah, and you can help by not dying and focusing on your health and keeping the house together and taking care of all the animals, because we have a lot of animals, but this is all in the pursuit of trying to see if disability will work, which was actually, according to your advice, like 2 years ago. I struggled with, if you remember when you first brought it up, like last thing I'll say about it, but you mentioned it before the hospitalizations, just with the normal problems I was having because I'm, diabetic and all that. And you were like, maybe try that. And I was like, I'm not crippled. I can still. And then you said that, probably doesn't pay the bills, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that's true. And that's not an original, like somebody told me that a long time ago when I was being
I was being prideful about something, and it was costing me money, and I don't remember what the situation was, but like I was told that by somebody much smarter than me.
But when I reached out the initial time, our pharmacist, who's amazing, I talked to her. I think just on the phone talking to her, waiting for the doctor to come, but I told her what was going on and why I was asking. I was like, I just feel strange, though, because I'm not, like, missing a limb, and I'm not outright crippled, and it feels a little, and she just goes, Hunter, you know that's not what it's for, right? And I was like, I mean, I guess. She's like, that's silly. So...
And you've got a medical record to back it up. That's the biggest thing. You've got a history of
multiple
ER visits
doctors
and
willing to sign off on it.
Yeah, being put in the hospital over and over again. Like
that was actually one of the big catalysts for him actually going to therapy was that his endocrinologist.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Was amazing dude, hilarious dude. He was like, listen, you may not think you need it, but you've been sick for so long, you've got some stuff to talk about. Like, plus it will help build your case. So you should go.
Libby a couple times prior had been like, you might want to talk to somebody, but it wasn't like super. You didn't present it super seriously. So I was like, maybe. And then I called my brother who had before, and I was like, what do you think? He was like, you definitely should. And then so I told the endo, and he was like, well, I know your main doctor has wanted you to do that too. And I was like, shit.
They've been talking about me.
Yeah, so all of a sudden it was like, okay, well, I guess we're going.
Well, you don't always know. Like when I signed up for this, the therapist I go and see now, I wasn't in any type of bad situation. I wasn't in peril. You know what I mean? Like I just kind of wanted to start the workup again. Like I'd done it before and the person retired and I really didn't get a lot out of it. And I kind of just wanted to do... I had questions. I wanted to get in there and peel it all back again. And that's... So... I mean, again, granted, considering how 2024 has gone, I'm glad that I did, but I didn't know that going into it. I was like, I was in a really good place and probably needed less therapy than I needed in a really long time. I just decided to jump, and I'm glad that I did.
The big thing that was crazy that really showed me how bad it actually was, which, I mean, I don't know if you guys in the bands, or the band, I'm sure you guys in the band knew I was probably way more fucked than I thought I was, on an anxious level, I should say. Like, I don't mean in a really bad way, but just a couple friends, this was the like straw that broke the camel's back. We were having D&D and all that, hanging out, and one of them, I don't remember who, goes, yeah, but you have like anxiety and depression, right? And I was like, oh, for sure I have depression, like, but I don't know about anxiety. And then there was a weird pause, and then like half the room started laughing, and I was like, oh fuck.
It's like, do you worry? Do you worry about things?
Constantly.
Because that's anxiety.
So then I got, going into therapy, my doctor prescribed an antidepressant to help with the anxiety. And the first 2 days I was on it, which was a half dose, I collapsed into the chair because of the release my body had. And so I was talking to my friends that were on it, and I was like, I don't know what's happening. Like, I feel like a noodle. Like, I can't. And they were like, because your fight or flight is disengaged, and it's been engaged for...
Well, and there's so many like anxiety, depression, and codependency. That's the other big one, and that's one I've been learning a lot about lately. I don't even know if I had an issue with it, but it sort of came to pass, and we'll get into. I think that's probably we'll save that for another episode. Like therapy, we should do one on like therapy concepts. What all we learn in therapy? Like I've learned so much about codependency, and I'll give you a little hint if you go look up any of the recent podcasts. That like Whitney Cummings did. She talks about being in 12-step programs for over a decade, and she never had a substance abuse problem at all. It was all codependency and things like that.
Interesting.
And they talk about being addicted not to the external, but to your internal medicine cabinet, where you get your hits of dopamine by your actions and being overly involved in other people's lives or that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And that's a big one because it's the only addiction you get rewarded for.
Yeah.
If you're like a drug addict or an alcoholic, eventually you phase out. You can't go to work, you get arrested, you lose things. But if you're a codependent people pleaser, people just keep giving you a gold star over and over again. And you become like completely disabled internally from it. But outside, it looks like you're doing the great thing. You're the good guy. You're the hero in the story.
You're the best.
You're the best. But it's eating you alive. So that's another thing you can bring up with your therapist if anybody cares or they're listening. But real quick, let's kind of move it forward here. Libby, how have you been?
Liza Libby.
Eliza Libby.
Let me take you on a journey.
Let's go. Oh, shit.
No, so I guess this was early summer. I had been working for a place that will go unnamed on Cumberland Avenue. And there were some issues there. What?
This was around the Luniverse show.
Yeah, it was actually.
That's kind of
where the catalyst. That was the catalyst of all things falling apart.
That's where my fucking
Just
story
wanted to bring
started.
it up. Sorry. Go.
So I was working as a manager at a store that will not be named that is on Cumberland Avenue. And there were a lot of problems with the higher ups, a lot of issues that I had there. So I had...
Was or still is there?
It's still there.
Okay.
It's still there.
I won't ask you to name it, but just, okay.
It's still there.
If anybody's driving by, you can look around.
Much to my surprise, it's still there. So I was working there for a while, and the problems that were going on were not getting better. So after much discussion with Hunter, especially since I am, as he said, the primary breadwinner for our household, I decided to jump ship to a different ship, and I went from the frying pan into the fire, as the saying goes. So I joined up, and I will drop the name here. I joined up with Honeybee Coffee. Those of you who are native to Knoxville probably know some of the mess that happened with
they just had
I've heard it.
Honeybee.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Some
I've
shit
heard
went
some-
down.
yeah.
Was P.
Yeah.
Diddy working there? What the fucking...
Pretty much,
P.
yeah,
Diddy and Dave
actually.
Grohl.
No, so I started, I interviewed with them in early June and did not meet the new owner, Aaron Hensley. And
Might want to edit that part.
don't
Or
edit.
do I?
Do
Or
not
do I?
edit that part.
I don't
He
want to
is-
edit. Let's get it.
He is a problem. He needs to be called out.
All right, get it.
You might want to edit that part.
No. Anyways, so I interviewed and I came on with them, and I was on with them for a grand total of 1 day. June 16th was
day
my
after
starting
my
day.
birthday.
Really?
Yes.
So it's your fault. No, I'm just kidding.
Geminis.
June 16th. I started there officially, and the message that I received from him my first day on the job, training with the at the time manager, was that manager's not supposed to be there anymore. She doesn't work for me. You are working now. And I'm like, but I haven't had any training. He's like, well, are you ready for this job or not? And I was like, I guess I am. I don't know.
How professional.
Yeah, exactly. He was anything but professional in all the ways that he acted. But working for them for 2 weeks, and then our roaster, who is a gem of a person, came in one Thursday, and he was like, hey, do you know what's going on? And I was like, no. And he's like, have you been paid yet? And I was like, no. And he was like, okay. So Aaron quit last night. He sent an email to the previous owner, and he just said, like, hey, I'm out. I'm gone. So I was out of work for like a month because they had to shut down the store because they couldn't do anything legally because he was the primary owner, and he just left. So
And you didn't pay y'all?
no.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
No, that was a very sticky situation. Thankfully,
My side gig came through right then.
yeah,
Thank
thankfully his side gig came through right at that moment, and I was able to get a hold of his secretary, and she cut me a check.
Fuck.
So I got paid for the 2 weeks that I worked for him. My coworker / employee, she also cut a check for her, but by the time she went to deposit it, it bounced. So
My God.
yeah.
So where is this dude?
Nobody knows. he is MIA right now.
Oh, we definitely need to name him then. If anybody can find this fucking guy,
He's yeah. There's a
report
lot
him
of
to America's Most Wanted.
there's a lot of behaviors in his past and stuff that people have dug up that have proved that he has done this before, and he
What a
probably will try
dick.
to do it again. It's a mess. So this entire past month has been them desperately trying to legally get control of the company again, trying to get away from his mess that he created. He estranged Honeybee from like half of Knoxville because Aaron said some absolute nonsense about not supporting the LGBTQ community in Knoxville, and like just some really not good, not kosher stuff. So we've been trying really hard to remake the image of the company, and it's not been easy. And there's
Which I will
constantly
say-
things.
I didn't hear any of the bad things about Honeybee. I heard like there was a mess with like a new owner and people weren't getting paid, and
Yep.
like he bailed, and
Yep.
he's basically just a shit of a person.
Yes.
But like I didn't hear like any like honey. Like I would still go.
Yeah.
I mean, if there was one close to me.
Well,
Yeah.
when they first came to Knoxville, and they had that flagship store, I guess they still maybe do out in Farragut. I went there a couple of times, and I remember being there and talking to the then owner guy, who maybe is the guy that's now trying to
he's again the owner.
and he was super nice. And I had a comment. I said, I really like your aesthetic. And he was like, thanks. I borrowed it from, he goes, I kind of got the idea from some places in Nashville. And I was like, yeah, that's what I picked up on. And he was real cool. He talked to me a long time, but they were a solid operation for a really long time. I hope they can get back to that.
Why did they want to give it up?
Well, bad apple ruins the bushel.
Yeah, you want to get into that?
So, from my understanding, the hope was not necessarily to give it up, because Norris did retain a portion of the ownership, but it was a minority portion. So he was like 20% owner, whereas Aaron became 80%. And he wanted more to be like, the silent partner, like just kind of be in the background. He loves roasting coffee. He loves the social aspect of coffee, but he doesn't necessarily like the day-to-day maintaining
Business, yeah.
So he was hoping to take more of a back seat, and that Aaron would take the helm, and that it would be more of like he can just help out when it's needed. But clearly that didn't work out, unfortunately.
Well, and that's sometimes that's the goal for a lot of people that start businesses. Is eventually to kind of step back and hand it over, or to sell it.
That's a natural process.
That's a natural
Definitely.
process. Yeah.
So it's taken a lot of time and a lot of effort, and there's still a lot of things that have to be sorted out. Like, this dude deleted all of our systems. We don't have ordering systems anymore. We do not have a website anymore. We do not have. He recreated our Square, even just our registers. He recreated them with his own passwords and email addresses and everything. So we had to make a new Square account because we didn't have all that stuff. So a lot of like gift cards, any like reward points, anything like that, we don't have it anymore. And they're working on trying to recover them, but it's a process. He also changed all the locks on all of the stores. And so we had to hunt down the master keys, and that's also been an issue. They also took our phones. I don't know why. They took our phones. So I had to call his secretary to get her to bring the phones back.
What other businesses has this dude been a part of?
I don't know.
We don't know if he's in Knoxville.
No idea. No freaking clue.
My God.
What's his name? Aaron Helsing?
Basically. Aaron Hensley is the name.
If anybody knows the whereabouts of Aaron Hensley,
is it an Aaron with an E or an A?
A.
Reach out to Beacon House so we can hunt this motherfucker down.
I got skills.
I know you do. I know.
I got skills.
If you guys could have seen the look on Grace's face just now, it was scary.
But like in kind of a nice, it's weird how sometimes like even the weirdest, darkest clouds can have a wonderful silver lining. I had a month off work. I had time to be home with my husband and with my pets. And at the same time, our church was moving. So we had the time to go out and help them move and repaint and all that stuff. So, it all worked out in the end, but man, it was scary for a minute there.
Yeah.
It's just how fucking life is.
Yeah.
It's just like an emotional roller coaster.
It is. One of the things in therapy, we're talking about therapy, that one of the concepts that we talk about in therapy is being what they call outcome agnostic. Mm-hmm. Meaning, like, you can't get so hung up on how it's going to turn. You just sort of have to be ready for anything and be willing to kind of accept, kind of like Libby just said, like, yeah, it sucked that you weren't able to work, but we had this time to do these other things. Mm-hmm. And you know what I mean? Like, there's always like, I believe that too. Like, life can be a real turd, which I'm about to explain about me. But also, I do think that there's usually a method to the madness. Like, I just think the universe is more in favor, and whatever you want to call it, God or what, like, the universe is more on your side than it is against you.
Yeah, God is.
You kind of just need to.
I would agree. Like,
same. You just got to be able to recognize it. You do. It's not always easy.
It's definitely not. Like, I'm enjoying being bored. My partner, my boyfriend, he is not.
Oh no!
And I literally just said to him yesterday. I was like, "Is it boredom or is it depression?" I was like, "Which one is it?" I was like, "You're used to like some sort of chaos or like something going up and down in your life or some kind of like craziness or excitement." And I was like, "But now we're just boring. Like we haven't had any. Like we don't fight. We're not having any craziness. We're paying our bills. We're not. Nothing crazy is happening. So maybe we're just focused. Leave it." Don't rock the ship because
it's like if you're used to the turbulence, you can't tell like when the plane's off the ground.
Exactly. Yeah, just let it be. I'm enjoying being bored because the next time like something's gonna happen, and be like, man, remember those months where it was just quiet?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was just going to say, I think that's the big lesson that I've learned through all of this is just patience, like believing that it will work out and finding joy in every day, not stressing so much about where's the money going to come from? Where are we going to get groceries from? Because we were taken care of. We were fine. He was working. He had a job. He was providing for us in that way. And as stressful as it was, like, we made it out. Hopefully it won't happen again.
Yeah.
We're going to hunt that dude down.
I know,
Like,
right?
I was, well, actually, on that note, like, the last update we got, which I take as good news, I hope something comes of it, is, like, I don't want to name who, but multiple, like, law enforcement agencies are apparently
seeking him.
I don't want to say anything
better
else,
be.
but
They're going
as
him
you
after
expect.
Diddy.
That's right. He's
Right.
next. Yeah, because week 1 turned into like a total of 4.5 or 5 weeks altogether, and she was freaking out because of the money thing. Because of course we were tight, but I was like, I'm working. I've got money coming in right now, and at the same time, which is kind of what she said, I was like, on the plus side, we have all this time together that has nothing to do with me being in the hospital, so we can actually use it.
I got him into Stardew
Yeah.
Valley. We
You
played
created a monster.
a bunch of Stardew Valley together. It was really nice. It's been really nice.
We're in our second year.
That's
We
okay.
have a cat named Bilbo and 3 hens, and they're 5 hearts happy. One is named Trix, the other is named Racha, and the other is
I hope to one day be 5 hearts happy.
What was the other one? I named it, but I can't remember.
I can't. Unbelievable. We
I'm
met
sorry.
a wizard, and he helped us with some things, and we discovered the Skull
Man,
Cavern.
my life isn't that boring.
No, no, we had a lot of fun though. It's been good because
I'm just kidding.
Hunter's
just kidding, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm not hating on your 5 heart. happiness.
Hunter's gaming experience.
15 technically. But
Hunter's
yeah.
gaming experience, having 2 brothers, has mostly been first person shooters. There hasn't been a whole lot of like story games or relaxing games. So I played Stardew Valley for a very long time, and he used to be like, I don't get it. I don't understand why you like that. I'm like, because it's peaceful. And
Yeah, which
a lot
I get it now.
A lot of times life isn't peaceful.
Actually,
You know what my piece is? I watch murder documentaries
Yes.
before I go to bed.
I, no joke,
I
have
watch drama.
I have a sign in our kitchen that says, welcome, let's talk about true crime.
that
I
was,
watch true crime all day at work. That's all I do. I watch true crime before bed. Give me trauma. It helps.
And
I
also,
need
also
Stardew
good
Valley.
happy news though. I have been reading a lot, so
Yes.
I've gotten back into the passion of reading, which is really
That's good.
for my mental health and my well being as a person.
Yeah.
on the note of peaceful and calm, like a really funny, at least hopefully it was to me, short story about a way that manifested, and then we need to find out what's been going on with Spencer.
Yeah.
He's the
But-
one with all the trauma and
The
toxicity.
bloodbath.
Our
Libby-
lives are
I'll
boring,
give
but
you
his
some,
is
I'll give you
chaos.
some
Right.
fucking true crime.
Libby was in the car with me when this happened, but we were driving to church with my mom, and
Oh,
you
no.
know the thing where like family locks you, like once you move out, like there's that problem of they lock
Yeah.
you in place where you were. So we have gorgeous, calm classical music playing, and she goes, "Man, Hunter, I'm really surprised that you would listen to anything like this." And Libby starts chuckling, and I'm like, "Why?" And she goes, "You just always, everything was always so aggressive, blah, 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 blah." And I was like, "I'll give you one guess what this is, Mom." And she goes, "Is it Godzilla music?" And I was like, "Yeah."
It was a Godzilla soundtrack.
She's like, Hunter, I've only ever heard you listen to Diddy and that lube music.
Yeah, no.
It's 1,000 bottles.
The really funny thing about this is we've kind of done this in a gradient. So very, very comfortable playing life right now. Kind of turbulent, but not too terrible. Yeah, pretty bad. And then you have so much stuff to tell everyone.
Unlike you, I don't have a good resolution. Like you had this incredibly like well-rounded. You're like, well,
Your resolution's on the way.
some shit happened, but I've been able to reflect. I'm reading more. You
Yeah.
know, like
I did hear
like-
as a resolution that Burn the City might be playing at the end of November. Like that's good.
So well, that's traumatic for me. But let's get
Yeah,
into
let's
it.
get into it.
This is we're about to find
Spencer
out why
McCoy, what
Spencer
happened
is
to you?
going to therapy.
Jesus Christ.
We might
right.
need therapy.
And-
after.
and-
He
Listen.
has notes, ladies and gentlemen.
I do have some fucking notes. I made them last night after rehearsal. Just as a disclaimer, like I don't
Trigger
like
warning?
I don't. Man, yeah, actually,
There are trigger warnings.
actually
wait.
there is
Yeah,
a
yeah,
trigger
yeah.
involved. We're gonna get to it. So I don't like to be super revealing about my personal life and everything like that on the podcast. Like I just, or in general, like I just try not to. But there's been so much going on. I've had so many people texting me, asking like, "Hey, what are you doing? What's going on lately?" And it's just too much to text. So like part of well, first off, I wanted to get together with all you guys because you guys are great. And
Oh, gee, shucks.
Well,
Okay.
thanks, mister.
I take it back.
Peak recognized peak.
Fucking-
You just wanted to see Finn.
I really did. And but then also I want to be able to kind of just like cleanse myself of this, kind of like we did with the Ouija board thing, and just put it out there. And like if anybody wants to hear about it, they can read about it or listen to it or whatever.
Almost the equivalent.
So let me back up real quick. This is how 2024 has been. And again, I don't want to say it's been worse or better than for anybody else. Shout out our dear friend Shauna. Her mom's house burned down at the very beginning. That's how 2024 started out. She lost her child at home, and they spent months and months and months like having to dig up like their pets out of the... It's just been terrible for a lot of reasons. And we were involved in this like 9-month-long Battle of the Bands thing that like we were happy to be involved in, but it was just a lot, took a lot out of us.
Stressful.
Got
I'm
all the
sure.
way to the finals, and we rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed. I feel like we rehearsed ourselves to be the best we've ever been.
We were.
And we got second place, which was fine. We weren't disappointed in that. I mean, out of like 65 bands...
Something like that.
I mean, big. We raised over $10,000 for Young Williams. I mean, we lost to one of our favorite bands that we became friends with the night of the final.
There you go.
Shout out King Ghoul. We love them. We want to play with them really, really soon. Shout out
They
to
were
everybody.
so nice.
They were so nice. And shout out to everybody that we played with, not just in the final, but all of them. And we've probably said this before. But anyway, what a lot of people didn't know is I, at that point, was performing with a really badly torn meniscus in my right leg. Like, it was... that we saw on the MRI, it was folded up like a sandwich in the middle of the knee. It wasn't even just like shredded a little bit. It was completely folded over. So all that rehearsing, we were doing the final show, everything. I was doing it on that. And literally the week after the show, I had surgery. I already had it scheduled. So I was just trying to get through that fucking final. I did it. And I feel like I wish I could have performed a little bit better, but I think we did okay.
No, you performed well. Don't worry about
Either
that.
way.
You
Y'all
guys
are
knocked it
rock
out of the park.
stars.
Yeah, shut up.
Well,
Yeah.
either way, like
You're always going to be harder on yourself.
we have really high standards, but I was happy it was over. And I even talked like other guys in the band that didn't have a torn meniscus. Like I know we all had this kind of like crazy emotional vacuum afterwards. Like there was nothing. All of a sudden, it just ended. It was so crazy, and it ended, and it was just like this weird time. And I underwent surgery at that time, and I was in the recovery process. And this is probably the time to go ahead and just clear the air on this. During the recovery process, I went through a little breakup, and that's fine. And what some people know about it, some people don't. But I was at one point, it was mentioned to me that I hadn't informed enough people about it, that I wasn't letting people know how they needed to act. So here's your disclaimer: like Spencer's single again.
Woohoo!
Then
What was that?
He's gonna get
so
tackled at the
excited
next
about
show.
it?
well.
I'm just excited. Like, yeah, Spence, fucking take the reins.
So well, I don't. Again, that's another thing I don't like to talk about is my personal life
course,
that way. But for anybody that's maybe, and I'm not going to go on social media and make a big fucking announcement or something like that. But for anybody that's kind of been looking and going, I think it's like, yes, the thing officially ended, and it's for the most part amicable. I'm not going to talk about it, but months ago. But that was during my surgical recovery. So right after that,
You're surgical.
I
It
would've
sounded
brought
like you
you
said
soup.
cervical.
I get is my cervical recovery.
There we go.
I became single during all that, so then right after that, kind of get back on my feet, starting to get back in the swing of work. I'm getting back in things, kind of figuring out the road forward. What does life look like now? That kind of stuff, you know. And like Libby, like I always look for the silver lining on in everything. Let's go forward. Starting to dive back into the band, getting ready. We actually working on it. I don't want to make an announcement yet because I don't know what's going to happen with this next information, but potentially planning a show around Thanksgiving.
Yep.
With another one of the bands that was in the final with us. I'm just
turkey,
gonna leave it at
turkey,
that.
turkey.
So exciting times working on a new album like that. And then a thing happened on August 27th. I was at work. I work at a restaurant downtown. It was very busy. And I was running around, and we have a machine. And the machine, I'll just say, the machine is designed to smash things. And it jammed up, and I took it apart trying to fix it real quick. And at some point, it turned back on, and it completely destroyed the ring finger on my left hand.
So no wedding bells.
So the greatest thing that can happen to a guitar player.
Oh man.
I mean, it was nuts, and I'll spare you the gory details, but the finger got smashed between two smashing things, and it wouldn't come out. So it was in there for a long time. And we eventually had to roll it out by hand. And it had broken the bones in the tip of the finger and destroyed the nail bed and destroyed all the nerves and blood vessels. I mean, it was like, it didn't pop. I will say that. I've heard people talk about having their fingers smashed like on the edge of a boat, and the boats smash into each other, and somebody's fingers in between them, and they say it pops like a ketchup packet.
Oh, God.
I did not have that, but it
started too later.
It rolled all the blood out of my finger. I mean, it was disgusting. It looked like something out of a cartoon.
Okay.
And when I tell you,
Don't worry, guys. I'll show you pictures.
when I
later.
tell you,
I have it in my mind right
my
now.
I have pictures on my phone.
Not good enough. Not
when I
good
tell
enough.
you, it looked like in like Roger Rabbit when they smash somebody with a mallet and their hand gets all flat and they pick it up. That's what my fucking finger
Oh,
looked
my
like.
God.
It was flat and big like a spoon.
Okay.
and then it
So
ballooned
anyway-
like they do too.
Anyway, I go to the emergency room real quick. 4 or 5 people look at it. They say all this weird shit. One guy that was like a trainee came over and he goes, "Oh, you're going to lose that." And I was just like, "Get this fucking guy out of here. I want to talk to this guy." That was on August 27th when that happened. And 2 days later, I go back to see a doctor, kind of like their doctor. And he goes, I think, he goes, "You broke the bone in it, but I believe it's going to heal up okay. But we need to get in there. You've destroyed your nail bed." And if anybody who's ever been through this knows what I'm talking about. I've never had a damage to my fingernail and my nail bed. Mm-hmm. But apparently, underneath your fingernail is very important tissue that covers all the important parts of your finger. And when it gets torn up and destroyed and the nail gets ripped off or broken, they need to go in there and sew it up so that it can recover correctly. That's what the guy told me. So he gets in, he goes, "We need to get that nail off there and sew it up so it can recover. I think if we do that, it'll heal properly." And of course, it's in a splint. You guys can see it right now. Everybody's looking at it. Mm-hmm. That was on August 29th. Okay, they scheduled the first surgery 1 week later because we need to do this quick. So day before the surgery, I get a call from the insurance, the workers' comp people. Mm-hmm. They go, "Nobody's approved the surgery yet. We can't do it."
I hate workers' comp.
I go,
my God.
"Wait, what are you talking about?" They go, "I don't know. We can't. They haven't approved it yet." So I'm on the phone with the insurance company. I'm calling back and forth. I'm calling the surgeon. They say, "Hey, we need to go home. Can you get us an answer?" Nobody will give us an answer. And then the following day, they go, "Well, we tried to call the doctor and he wouldn't answer the phone, so we had to deny it."
They had to deny it.
"What does that mean?" They go, "Well, you need to appeal it."
Oh, no.
That was on the 6th of September. I appealed it with the state, and they said, "It'll be back in about 24 hours and we'll pay for it." So they rescheduled surgery for the following Tuesday. Mm-hmm. That would have been the 10th. Well, the 10th comes and goes, no surgery, no approval. It's locked up at the state. Surgery gets rescheduled 5 times.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my God.
And finally, on the last one, while they're waiting on the state appeal to come back, the doctor goes, "Well, I don't even know if it's worth doing it now. Enough of that tissue's probably died that we can't even sew it up."
That was the update we got yesterday.
He goes, "I don't think it's viable anymore. We may just have to see what happens." This was last week.
What did you ask the doctor? Why did you not answer your phone?
He said nobody called.
Oh, come on.
Doctor says nobody called. Insurance says nobody answered. Boom, boom, boom. Now, at that point, I get my employer involved. They're mad as hell. They call. They go,
Yep.
"We'll fucking pay for it. We'll pay for the whole thing. Just get it done." They won't touch it because now it's tied up at the state level in Nashville.
Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm. So it gets scheduled and scheduled. Now it's been 3 weeks.
Yep.
I've had this fucking splint on. I will say this. I rehearsed twice. And
Pretty well.
we got through
Maybe
it.
you shouldn't do that.
3 fingers. Well, we got to do something because I don't know if I'll have a finger to play the gig with.
Just really quick. When Hunter came home from practice yesterday, he said you sounded fucking amazing. So just take that off.
Well, I'm glad you're here to
Don't
say
make
Take
stuff
that
up
off.
like that.
You did say that.
I did.
I've broken in 18 months. I've broken the same ankle and the same leg, and got ran over by that golf cart.
I remember.
It was workers' comp. Yes, it's funny. It was a work. It was at work. I wasn't playing. It was at work. Workers' comp fucks you. I got fired the day after workers' comp approved. Was like, "Oh, you're good to go. You're done. Everything's
my
done.
God.
You're good to go." Physical therapy released me. They fired me the very next day.
That's
Bro, I'm here to tell you,
It's fucked.
it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare, and there's a reason why everybody has said, like if you get hurt at work, just be ready. Because it's going to be bureaucracy. It's going to be
need a
emails.
lawyer.
You really should get a
You
lawyer.
need a lawyer.
on day one. And even the surgeon had told me, he goes, if a lawyer gets involved, then all this goes away. They just do it. Well, as soon as we appealed it to the state, which was supposed to come back in 24 hours, didn't come back for 10 days.
Yep.
Jeez.
And at that point, they were like, we don't want to fool. So now, at the point we're at now, 2 days ago, it came back from the state, and they said, like, the appeal's approved. Like, the denial's overturned. Do it. Get in there and work on it. And now nobody can get an answer from the doctor. So now we're trying to get it over to the other orthopedic clinic that did my knee surgery and see if they'll take it seriously. But that's what I've been dealing with in terms of like trying to rehearse. I'm working on a record with a friend of ours, you know, and like I'm supposed to play guitar on her record, and it's just not working out. I've made it through 2 rehearsals. I feel like I could. I don't know. What do you think? You think I could make it through a gig?
I think you could, but you need to be honest with us about the stuff, because like each of the rehearsals we keep
like how bad it hurts.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because
you could be having
are you
damage.
Are you making things worse?
No, I'm
somehow?
being real careful with it, and I'm not using it. That's the thing. I'm just figuring out ways to play with 3 fingers.
3 other fingers.
Which, if anybody out there is a guitar player, just like go get some surgical tape or something, wrap it around your ring finger on your left hand or right hand if you're left-handed, you know. And then just dive into all your favorite songs with 3 fingers and just see how it goes. That's what I'm currently doing.
Yeah, the difference between practice 1 and 2 was astronomical in how much better it was. And practice 1 was not bad either. So, like, all of us, you're always so focused in your solos, I don't think you notice. But, like, Randy is holding the whole thing together, just chilling on the bass. But Dylan, B, and I, especially yesterday during your Dark Star solo, I think it was, or it might have been Crashing, I can't remember, were just, like, jaw on the floor and like, what the
it's hard.
Fuck. Like,
it's hard to do that with 2 fingers.
You were
like
hitting everything, but you had your like normal finger
He's
you used
that
was
good.
just out.
He's that good, guys.
I'm not even going to say that, but it means a lot to me to like. I can't not play guitar. There's just it's not an option. But
he's that good. He's got burden hips.
But
at least it wasn't your middle finger.
I know, and that's what I've realized. Like. It's been a lot.
Not only would that have been so much harder to play guitar with, but also you'd be flipping everybody off.
I know, and I was hoping that by the time we did this podcast, I would have an answer. Like, well, here's what they're going to do, but I don't know what they're going to do.
So is that what's been happening?
That's been going on, and literally I've been having to take like a bunch of time off from work because at any moment they might call for surgery, and I have to have 3 days off and line up a ride, and it's this whole thing.
Oh my God.
So it's inconvenienced so many fucking people. Like every week they're like, we're going to do it this week, and I have to take a bunch of days off, and I just sit around sending emails and calling people and trying to get somebody, and they all go, well, we're going to call the other person. We're going to check in with them. I'll let you know when we hear something. It's all that kind of stuff.
You'd think it coming back from the state would have stopped that, but
it still goes to the email. Anyway, so that's currently, that's been going on, and that's been going on for 3 weeks, getting us into September. And then
nothing else at all happened.
While I was sitting around on a Saturday, and this is actually on the 7th of September, I was at home. I was in the living room. And I heard a loud noise. It sounded like glass breaking. It sounded like a light bulb exploded right next to my head. I mean, it was very present, louder than hell. And I didn't know what had happened. I looked around. There was nothing broken. Like, I saw my cats around the couch. They were looking at me like, what the fuck just happened? And I was like, did a bulb shatter? Something? Was there like an electrical explosion? I look around. I can't find anything. I go outside. I don't see anything. It was really weird. And I had decided finally, maybe I just knocked like a glass picture frame down behind the bookshelf or something, and it shattered, and that's why I can't see it. And like I looked and I couldn't see. I was like, maybe I don't know. Like it was just very strange, but I couldn't find anything. And so I went and got on the computer. I started writing my work. I've been working from home as much as I could. Started writing the work schedule, and got up to use my bathroom, and I noticed that I've got a big mirror in my bathroom, and it was shattered, and there was a hole in the middle of it. And I look, and I'm going to go, wait, was that? Did something explode? Like, did it get hot and the mirror exploded? Yeah. And I look even more. I go, is that a bullet hole? Did a fucking bullet come through my bath? And I look around and I don't see any holes in the wall.
Yeah.
And I go, no, it can't be that. And then all of a sudden I see in the bathroom door a hole. Mm-hmm. And I look on the other side and it's gone through the door into my bedroom and bounced off my closet. So
oh my God.
Somebody shot a fucking 44 slug through the side of my house, came through a mirror, glass exploded everywhere in the bathroom, and that bullet went out of that room into my bedroom.
Fucking could have killed you.
If I would have been in the bathroom, I would have been shot.
Oh my God.
Did you talk to your neighbors?
Listen, so we're talking about...
Listen, with your story and you, I am heated. I'm ready to get somebody. Yeah. My life is about to not be boring.
What if it was that asshole from Honeybee?
What if it was Aaron just shooting up a neighborhood
him and
for no reason?
P. Diddy lubed the bullet up.
That's right.
So I realized what has happened And I fucking freaked out. I was like, holy shit. Like, this is the first time I've never felt safe in my own house in my life.
That is terrifying.
Usually whatever was going on, as long as I got inside and like locked the doors and like I felt like I was in my fortress of solitude.
Must be good to be a man.
Dude.
I listen, that was not a sexist joke. I'm just saying.
Fair point, though.
I'm still learning.
I live by myself. I'm a female.
I'm listening and learning.
I called the fucking police non-emergency because it technically is not an emergency. It happened like an hour ago. I just
should have
didn't
called
know.
911. It's okay.
Yeah.
Well, I
You
figured
called the police, at
There could
least.
be people, literally somebody dying of a heart attack. They need 911 more than me. Anyway, but I called, and of course nobody answers. There's no one available to take your call right now. I leave a message. Hey, somebody just shot my house up. Give me a call back. An hour goes by. I hear nothing. I call again 1 hour later. There's no one available to take your call. Please leave a message. I leave another message. No answer. At this point, I was just like, this is fucked up. And I kind of felt like I need to get out of there a little bit. So I left and I went to the store. And while I was at the store, I thought, maybe I'll try like the sheriff's department because I live in the county, you know?
Yeah.
I call the sheriff's department and they take it real, somebody answers in there, they take it real seriously. We'll send somebody right out. Well, I'm not home. Do I need to go back? Yeah, go there. I go there. One guy shows up. And this is like 10 o'clock at night by now. This happened right in the middle of the day. Guy shows up and he goes, hey, what's going on? I show him the bullet hole in the exterior of the house, which is near the corner of the house. And the guy goes, well, here's the good news. I don't think anybody was trying to, this looks like an accident. He goes, if somebody was trying to shoot you, they would have shot a couple more times and probably shot through a window, not shot at the corner of the house. He goes, this looks like a stray bullet. And I went, yeah, but if I was in the bathroom, it would have fucking killed me. Or maybe not kill it. But, you know, and the guy
You
goes,
could have seriously been injured.
Severe
yeah, it would have gone
injury,
through me for sure.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was not a little bullet. It was a big slug.
44.
44, bro. And so,
This ain't no 22.
I mean, enough to go through a wall, a mirror, a door, and like into another door.
Yeah.
2 rooms it went
Two
through.
rooms.
It's got some punching power.
We should write a song called 2 Rooms.
2 rooms. We fucking should.
Oh my God,
Put
dude.
You heard
Diddy
it
in
here,
there, please.
You heard it here. Next album.
release.
The next one's real angsty already. We decided. So,
Oh, it's going to be great.
1,000 bottles of lube and
like-
2 rooms.
yeah.
Yes.
That's going in the track somewhere.
So this guy comes out and he looks around. He goes, yeah. He goes, and I go, well, man, like if I didn't hear anybody, like there was nobody outside. Like, I don't know. He goes, well, you know, people are allowed to shoot in the county. You can shoot a gun. And I was like, you can just fucking fire a gun off anytime if you're in the county. He goes, yeah. You just have to be shooting it somewhere safe, like into something that'll stop it. You can't just shoot it like at your neighbors and stuff. And I was just like, so literally anybody can just get hit by a bullet any fucking time? And he goes, yeah, kind of. He goes, this kind of stuff happens more than you think. And I was like, what? I mean, it was just, I never fucking knew that.
Yeah, I think I knew in the county you can shoot a gun, but you have, like,
There has to be,
you can get in super trouble if you're firing a gun and you have neighbors that live behind, even if they're like 2 acres.
Yeah.
And you're firing and you don't have something that you're
stop it.
shooting at, like an
you don't have a
actual
target. Yeah.
You can get screwed for, like, if you did shoot someone and you did that. I mean, you get charged with
involuntary manslaughter
yeah,
or something.
Involuntary
Or
manslaughter.
attempted, yeah. Well, and we think that's what happened based on the weirdness, the angle, like
Sure.
but at the same time, I go, so I'm safe. He goes, well, we need to figure out who did it because it could happen again,
Yeah.
which is great. So he goes, tell you what, and they had a girl come out. She was with forensics. They took pictures, or ballistics or somebody. They took pictures and photos
you have
of
close
everything.
neighbors. Like,
Man, I do on the other side, but the side the bullet came from, there's nobody. There's a tree line, and then there's houses over there.
Oh, a tree line.
It had to have come on the other side of the tree
there
line.
was some dumb motherfucker
Yeah, I was
shooting
gonna
at the
say,
fucking tree.
was.
Some
thinking,
teen or something in the woods just shooting.
So they take the bullet. That's when they tell me it's a 44. And then they go, there'll be a detective in touch. Now, this is on November 7th.
I love
September
your notes.
7th.
September.
September 7th.
Whoa. Hold on.
This is on September 7th.
Spencer's in 2 rooms right now.
And as of today, like, I don't know when you're going to hear this podcast, but today's date is what, the 17th?
18th.
What? The,
9.
18th.
The
Today
18th.
is the 18th.
Today is the 18th.
I wrote it like a million times today.
We've been in the wrong day all day.
So,
Check me.
So
No,
the
you're right.
weekend,
It's the 18th. You're correct.
Sorry, Spence. It's
so
the 18th.
the weekend comes and goes.
Sorry, Spence.
I don't hear from anybody. And I'm dealing with this, like, workers' comp shit. And we're filing with the state and appeals, and everybody's crazy, and it's this big thing. Most of my days are consumed trying to get my finger fixed so we can move forward and play shows and record records, and I can do my thing. But I noticed it's been several days. Nobody's contacted me. No detectives contacted me. I'm laying in my fucking room looking at bullet holes in the wall. So that was a little weird. The first couple nights I had to sleep in there, and there's like bullet holes in my door. And I was like, Jesus Christ, dude. And then I finally call them, and I go, hey, I just wanted to check in. Nobody ever contacted me. And they go, oh, the detective's on vacation. And I was like, that's great. You think of me having him call me back? Like, just, if I'm still alive, maybe fucking. And so the guy literally called me today, 11 days after a bullet came through my house. And he was just like, is anybody mad at you? And I was like, probably a lot of people, And he was like, well, I said, I think it was an accident, but he goes, do you have a Ring camera? I go, no. And he goes, well, let me know if anything else. So I doubt they're even going to
You're kidding me.
I mean, who knows? I told him I suspect it came from the neighborhood next door. Maybe go over there and check. And he said he's going to let me know. So, but I mean, so somebody could shoot a bullet into your bedroom, and 11 days later you'll be told
That's what we pay for,
Let me know if anything else happens.
That's where our tax dollars go. It's.
I got really strange. It was clearly a scam text all this time later, but it was 11 or 12 years ago. So I freaked out because it never happened before, from somebody that was saying really weird occult stuff, but then also saying that I looked nice through the window, or some really creepy stuff. And so I called the cops, and they sent a detective over, and I showed him all the texts and blah blah blah. And he said, don't respond anymore. He probably knew what it was, but he said, don't respond anymore, but we'll check in with you in a few days and just make sure everything's okay. That was 12 years ago. I've never heard back.
Fuck. At least they're taking the whole P. Diddy thing seriously.
Yeah,
that's
they're
right.
taking the P. Diddy, the Trump assassination. He got two. He's been someone has tried killing him twice.
I heard that.
Now.
I heard today that both of those people were in ads for BlackRock in 2022.
I haven't investigated that, but I would not be surprised.
I don't know
Crazy.
but it showed pictures, and they were both on TV.
Yeah.
And supposedly
true.
the chances of both of those assassins being employed by the same company 4 years ago are 1 in 1 trillion.
Would-be assassins.
Would-be assassissians. That's right.
Because they didn't get him.
Yeah.
So, not to co-opt this with politics, but do you mean to tell me that there's a dark conglomerate of elites with power in the military-industrial complex and the economy, the tentacle economy throughout the world, that are trying to stop the outlier candidate, regardless of what you think of him, but the outsider guy that wants to come in and shake shit up?
Absolutely. But enough about that guy from Honeybee.
That's right.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh my goodness.
That's all I
Well,
got.
I hope your cervical surgery goes better.
I
I
appreciate
hope your
that.
finger heals.
Good God. Yeah, your life is very lively for me.
Very
for me.
interesting.
No wonder mine's boring.
it's
It's
been a
because
fucking-
it's all happening to you.
been
No
a
one's
peach.
trying to kill you.
It's been a peach. But hopefully there will be a Burn the City show around
Hopefully.
Thanksgiving. And hopefully I'll not sound terrible for some reason when we play it. And then, hopefully there'll be a new record coming soon. And hopefully all this is going to wash out into a wonderful...
But my brain has
Think
been
about-
occupied this entire time thinking about the poor person who had to categorize all of the lube and oil in the evidence area.
How do you guys think any of it went missing?
Probably.
Probably.
There's so
My
much
thing
they
is,
might not
think
know.
about what they found that they haven't really we
I mean,
don't even know.
It's hard to
Yeah.
tell in a case like that. It's a slippery
He's
slope.
not even
Yeah.
that attractive. There's something always about him I just didn't like. He was just not my vibe.
I mean, it doesn't matter. That much power and money,
He doesn't,
It doesn't
care
matter
about
that
Grace
much
Steele
lube.
not
He's
liking me.
anyone's
Yeah, he doesn't,
yeah, dude.
he doesn't care. But I'll tell you right now, he's burning through his money. He's losing it.
Fuck. Well, here's hoping that everything turns out great for everybody,
Not him.
except P. Diddy, and except what's the guy's name again?
Aaron Hensley.
Aaron Hensley and P. Diddy and all their lube.
They can get fucked.
I don't hope anything turns out great for them, but I hope things turn out great for me and all you guys.
Woohoo!
And if you've listened this long, come back to Beacon House. Now, hey, I will say we've all been watching a lot of horror movies.
Oh, yes.
And we have a lot of opinions and a lot of recommendations, and spooky season's coming up. So stay tuned. We're going to do another one soon, and I'm going to commit to that. Finger or no finger. We're going to do one, and we're going to talk about the best horror movies that came out this year and also recent times, so you can stock up your Halloween wish list of like good horror movies, and we'll get some other spooky things happening.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
I agree.